Hello, my name is Peregrine. The Overwatch Revival patch came with the release of 5 new heroes, one of which being Domina, a new villain and talent ally. She is the Vice President of the Vishkar Corporation and the granddaughter of the original founder. Domina is a refreshing villain for Overwatch because she represents a much more common evil that we see in the real world, that being of pure greed. Although complex villains like Reaper, Moira and Doomfist are fun to analyse, your suspension of disbelief starts to fade away if every single villain has a greater purpose or task, whereas in real life, most villains have no grandiose ideals or deep messaging. Not everyone is gonna be a Ted Kaczynski, the majority of them have no reason to be the way they are. Take for example, Lauren Fresher, the ex-CEO of Nestle, who regularly used child labour and caused water droughts in Pakistan for no other purpose than just pure greed. As refreshing as a heartless narcissistic villain is, it's not going to be interesting without having some good design to boot and reflect the character, which is where I personally think Domina shines as a villain. Everything about her is overwhelmingly gaudy and fake. She is the human representation of a corporation putting on a front. She is insanely sexually attractive, looking far younger than she is. She has a perfect physique, demonstrating how vapid and insecure she is due to her family's disapproval of her and lack of natural talent for Hardlight. The golden accents on her arms, gun, belt and hair are an outward demonstration of wealth, making her project a higher class and standing above all who look at her. Due to how humans usually react to shiny things, she ensures that she shines brightest anywhere she goes to keep the attention on her at all times. Domina's voice actor is also a splendid choice. Despite being born in India and seemingly having a completely Indian heritage, Domina's accent is undeniably British. I understand that in lore Domina spent some of her life in London, however if I were to take a guess at it, the accent is not natural by any means, rather forced to sound as classy as humanly possible, which becomes way more notable considering the fact that she is in fact Indian, one of the largest victims of the British Empire. Her choice of accent is most likely a conscious choice to differentiate herself and put distance between herself and her peers, who she considers common street trash. Not only does this differentiate, but it could also be a representation of her company and what they do. Vishkar's MO is gentrifying neighbourhoods, destroying cultures and forcing certain worldviews and efficiency onto them, which not only represents what the British did to India, but what she did to her natural voice and accent. While she colonizes Rio and Suravasa, she colonized her own body, starting with her voice. Choosing the accent of her people's colonizer is absolutely no accident. She would rather be caught dead than associating with
I am under the water, please help me.
Has anyone helped that guy? He's been under the water for like 10 years now. Another way she refuses to interact with street trash is her abundant use of her artificial hands. She is so far above doing manual labour or any kind of low-class jobs that she quite literally doesn't want to get her hands dirty. No filthy commoner is allowed to be touched or even struck by her hands, so the robot hands must do. Which brings me to her shift ability, Sonic Repulsors. There are a lot of displacement or booping abilities in this game, however this one takes the cake as the most disrespectful. The animation and the voice lines really play into how much she hates being around anyone she considers below her, which is everyone, and her utter contempt for human interaction.
Don't touch me! Keep your distance! Make way! Out of my way!
Although it can be used offensively, it is clearly built with defense in mind, and seemingly purely for defending only Domina at that. The utter violence of the push and the stunning effect it has when hitting a wall is a nice demonstration of a lack of care for the health of others, because let's face it, this ability was not meant for the battlefield. This is probably what she does if a servant brushes past her in the hallway. Another ability that reflects her ego is that of Crystal Charge, her E. The ability itself is no more than a simplistic Hardlight grenade, however the way she chooses to activate it is to snap her fingers, a choice that reflects her privileged upbringing, as it is no doubt a reference to how rich or rude people act towards their servers either at home or restaurants. It's a blatant display of self-importance and need for obedience. Slave, I require my food. Please bring me my food. I am at Wendy's, please. Wendy's server, I need more meat mountain. Excuse me. That's Arby's. However, one thing I do like about her abilities is that they're all fairly simplistic uses of Hardlight in comparison to the complexity in the designs of Symmetra's teleporter and turrets, and the beauty and technological advancements of Lifeweaver's biolife. Her barrier structure is mindlessly simplistic, and her E and all are barely stable constructs that end up exploding. Granted, that's helpful in the battlefield, but I question whether that's the purpose or not. Everything about her kit demonstrates her lack of ability with Hardlight and amplifies her insecurities about being the leader of Vishkar, and how her origin story is that of purely nepotism. Although she is okay with Vishkar's tech, the only reason she was able to get this good was through incredibly expensive training and blatant nepotism in the company, similar to how Billie Eilish, Charlie Kirk, Elon Musk, Taylor Swift and Hassan Piker wouldn't be successful without their family relations. Domina is the perfect representation of the evils we currently face in modern society, a soul completely rotten by money, entitlement and insecurity, hidden by a facade of beauty and success. More than happy to trade the lives of innocent people if it means another dollar in the bank, her privilege completely ruining her brain to the point of power-tripping delusion. Almost as if she herself no longer views herself as human, her crimes don't matter, humans are instincts. She's a brand of pure unfiltered scum that we haven't seen from Overwatch since Malga released. A genuinely inhuman sack of shit. I need her so bad.